Ramena Vihata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Raman Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhautume Bhorama Mamudhara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane Shri Rama Nama Varanana Onnama Iti. Happy Rama Navami to all of you again, and Happy New Year. Maybe we'll start by reciting the Mahayasha Sutrani. Ayun, Rilruk, Ayong, Ayauch, Hayavarat, Lan, Yamangananam, Jabanj, Garadash, Jabagaradash, Kapha Chacha Thacha Chatav, Kapai, Shashasar, Hal, iti Mahayasha Sutrani. Okay, so thanks to Karthik, we found one sutra which we have not covered so far to do the Gita Padachedaha. So also I think all of you have noticed that we have now put the color coding on all these sutras. So let me just walk you through that. All the Ach Sandhi rules are now in the yellow highlight, so to make it easier. We only have few of them. We have only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think only about 7 Ach Sandhi rules. That would be my first recommendation to all of you, is to master these, about 7 or 8 rules for the Ach Sandhis. And then, Anuswara Sandhi, we only have 2 rules, Monuswara and Vapadantas. Those are in green. Visarga Sandhi are in blue. There are a few of them. That will be the next step. Also, one thing here is Visarga Sandhi rules, even though I put them in blue like that, of course some of the rules have an overlap. If you take the Stosh, Chunash, Chuhu, a sutra like that, they will have applications elsewhere also. So that they're not exclusively Visarga Sandhi rules. But for the time being, we have used them in the Visarga Sandhi section. So that's why I put them as Visarga Sandhi rules. So this one, like Stosh, Chunash, Chuhu, that will be used elsewhere also. Otherwise, so this should make it easier for you. Today we are going to finish up the Vedanta Sandhi Prakaranam, at least, for the Gita purpose, and mostly even for other texts, you can just use this document. And, in Gita, I think now mostly 100% you can do the Vedanta Sandhis. If there's anything missing, just, send us a comment and we will post it. We will make the addition. Even other texts like Ramayana and all that, you can also do at least 80-90% you can do the Padacheda with these. Okay, so let's see this sutra. Thank you for Karthik for pointing this out. This sutra is for these 2 words, etad and tad, and only for the Prathama Ekvachanam in Pullinge. For these 2 special words, which is basically Saha and Eshaha, they drop their Pratyaha, that ending Sa, when any consonant follows. So etat tadoho, sulopo anakor anyang samase hali. Now, as I mentioned in this document, is that we will ignore these 2 terms, akor, anyang, samase, because they are, very rare usages in compounds, which I have yet to see one of them being used anywhere. So, but this again goes to highlight the fact that in Panini Sutras, unfortunately, Panini doesn't care whether the usage is extremely common or whether it is extremely rare. So we already saw in Sutram Sasajusho Ruho that, the word Sa, the Sajush is almost never to be seen. Bhatti Kavyam has it, but otherwise, it's very, very rare. While the Sa is almost in every sentence of the language. So there in the same sutram back to back, we have something which is extremely important and extremely rare. So same thing a little bit here also, because you have etat tadoho, very common word, saha and eshaha, and then sulopo, that's fine. Then akoho anyang samase, those are very rare. So we'll look at that. So when they have this ka being used after them, and when it's not in this some kind of samasa compound. So we don't need those. So simply remember that etat tadoho sulopo hali. So when any consonant follows, this prathama ekvachanam will take the lopaha. Now what about the neuter and the feminine? Why am I only saying eshaha and saha? What about the feminine and neuter? What happens in that is that in the feminine and neuter, they already have other rules which will drop the that sa ending. So let me just point them out to you quickly. Let me go to our document. So in the feminine and neuter, what will happen is that in the feminine, we can use the 6168 will be used to drop the su ending, and then also in the neuter we honor sutram which says samo napumsakat, that comes in 7.1, so that will also drop the su ending. So even though this sutram that we are looking at right now doesn't say masculine, it because the other sutras already take care of the feminine and the neuter, we're going to end up with only the masculine forms for this sutram. So for the neuter, the sutram is samo napumsakat, and that number is 7123. So we haven't done these yet, but we'll just so 7123 already has dropped the in the neuter 7123 up. So when you see the padacheda in the neuter, you will not see that at all, because it's pratyaya. So if you have in the neuter, you have tat and etat. So that su is already gone. So the feminine, you will have sa and esha. They're also this is already gone. So, but in the masculine only, you will see this saha and eshaha. Now for those two, now what would have happened is that so far the rules that we have seen bho bhago gho purasya yoshi. So that one was only ashipare. Now, so what that left, if you look at the Maheshwar Sutrani, the ash pratyahara only includes all the vowels and the soft consonants. So swaraha and the mrudu vyanjanani. But that's not enough to take care of this esha and saha. Even when this remaining, this kar follows also, the su of esha and saha will take lopaha. So that is the reason why this sutra is required. Because the bho bhago bhago purasya yoshi, that would have taken care of up to jabagada dash. But beyond that, we need this sutram. And the example which Karthik pointed out is if you look at the Gita first adhyaya itself. So please practice these sutras now, because it's the only way you're going to learn them, and hopefully then you can also teach somebody else after you practice them. And if you have missed any, please let us know. So here is the shlokaha. Tatashankhaschya bheryascha panavanaka gomukhaha sahasaivabhyahanyanta sa shabdastumulo bhavata. So sa shabdaha. Look at the padacheda down there, it says saha shabdaha. But the rules which we know so far, we'd have had, if you just put it in the document, we would have had the saha plus shabdaha. When we do that, of course, in the padacheda, they've already applied some sandhi rules. So really, we need to start with sas plus shabdaha, and then we have to apply sasajusho ruho, which you already, I think all of you know that by now. Sasajusho ruho. So any padanta sakara, that's going to become ru. Sasajusho ruho, that we've seen way back. Let me find it for you. Sasajusho ruho. So that'll be the first step. And then, so we'll get a ru in place of the sa. So we get sa. So that's what would have happened, by the way. Because see, one thing let me point out to you is that the sasajusho ruho is in 8266. It's what is called tripadi karyam. It's sutram in the last three padas of the ashtadhyayi, last 3 quarters of the ashtadhyayi. So they have to wait until you finish all the work in the first 7.1 chapters. So sapada saptadhyayi karyam samapya eva tripadi karyam kartavyam. So this sutram 8 to 66 will not even have a chance in our case, because this etat tadoho sulopo sutram which we are studying today is coming in the sapada saptadhyayi. So it is going to take over and remove that sa even before we enter the tripadi. So, but had we not had this sutram, we'd have to go to Sasajushoruhu and do all the kinds of things, and then we would have ended with Vashari finally. We would have had Saha Shabdaha or Sash Shabdaha. But none of that happens at all. This sutram right here, now when you apply any sutram, again check all the conditions are satisfied. Check all the conditions are satisfied. Now we have not learned the rules so far, which tell you that this sas is really a form which is coming for the pratipadikam tad. We have not done those rules so far. So unfortunately, it is a little bit difficult for you to appreciate the sutram right now, because this sas is really a masculine nominative singular form of the pratipadikam. So let me put it in bracket like that. So it's a masculine. So just take my word for right now. Masculine singular prathama vibhakti. This is nominative form, nominative of pratipadikam tat. So that's not entirely obvious to us right now, but that's the way it is. So then we apply this 61132, and we get sa plus shabdaha. So that was one rule which we did not do in the class so far, which thanks for pointing it out to Karthik. And so that's, I think, pretty much the last rule that we need right now to do with the patanta sandhis in the Gita. Same thing, the second example comes in the third adhyaya of the Gita. Kama esha krodha esha rajo guna samudbhavaha mahashano mahapapma vidyenam iha vairinam. Very famous sloka of the Gita again. So this kama esha krodha esha. So let me find that for you. Let me see. Okay, here it is. It's in the third chapter, kind of towards the end, when Arjuna asked the question, Athakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha. So towards the end, you'll find this kama esha krodha esha. You see the ka is following there, but the rules that we knew so far will become kamaha. Yeah, so it will become kama. So kama esha. So esha krodha will become, or eshak krodha as the jivha mulya. But overruling all of that, not really overruling, but in the Sapada Saptadhyayi itself, that sakara drops. Okay, let me find the number for you. It will be here. Here it is, number 37. Between this eshaha and krodha and esha rajoguna. So what would have happened here was the visarga would have stayed here. It would become eshaha krodha or esha krodha as a jivha mulya. This will become esho rajoguna, but all that doesn't happen because the special rule 61132, this su drops, and then we get esha krodha, esha rajoguna samudbhavaha. That's the second example. So this maybe I should put the numbers here. Anyway, you have the numbers in the document also. I already put the numbers in the document. So the Gita is 113 and 337. So they might there. And this first one is a very common sutram. It has a lot of examples. This word sa is very common. I mean, as you can imagine, because it's the nominative singular form of pratipadikam tat. So basically, sa means he. The word he in English is very common. So it will be, So then we do. I'm sorry. Eshaha. So we make it eshas actually. Kama esha krodha esha. So make this krodha. And you're going to get that simply becomes esha and krodha. So Gita 337. Okay, so that is that. And now I want to look at two more rules which are not have application in Gita, but they are relatively common. See, Gita won't give you all the rules. It'll give you like 70-80%. Once in a while, it doesn't have an application for one or two, which might be important in other situations. So that one is the next sutra which you have in the document, which is Rori. Now Rori, if you do the Padacheda sutra, means Raha, Ri. So Raha is Shashti Ekvachanam of Ra. So I put that because that's confusing, because it's not entirely clear what Raha is in the sutra. So in that sutram, the Ro is Shashti Ekvachanam of the Pradipadikam Ra. So in place of Ra, we get a Lopaha. The Lopa is also considered as an Adesha, a substitution. Chatruvad Adeshaha. So it comes and replaces that. When that Ri is Saptami of Ra. So Refasya Refe Parato Lopo Bhavati. So these vrittis now are not that hard to figure out. So if you can even try to repeat them, first thing you should try to remember is sutram itself. And if you can, at least keep the vritti handy, so you can always double check. So Refasya Refe Parato Lopo Bhavati. Like I mentioned in one of the prior classes, when my teacher he used to always remember, he had memorized all the vrittis. So it was always on a safe footing. He always knew exactly what to check and where to go. But anyway, at least we can keep them for reference and see that that the sutra actually applies to our situation. So now, when we chant the Dhyana Shlokaha, Ramena Abhihata Nishachara Chamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. Which is actually Chamu Shabda like Vadhu Shabda. It is Chamu means Sainyam. It's the army. Nishachara Chamuham is the army of the demons, of the night rangers. Nishachara Chamuham. So we take Chamus plus Ramaya. We apply Sasajushtoruhu Padantasya Sakarasya Ruradesha Bhavati Chamur plus Ramaya. And then it becomes Rori will drop that when there's a two R's back to back, the prior R drops. Very as simple as that. From Chamu Ramaya. And that triggers the next sutram now. So these two kind of go together, which is Dhalope Purvasya Dirghonaha. Now one thing notice immediately is that we applied 8-3-14 to remove that prior Ra. And now we are going back to 6-3-1-1-1. Normally that should not be allowed. Because on the very first class we talked about that, about Purvatra Siddham. So these are two different computer routines. You cannot go back to routine number 1 after you do something routine number 2. But here we are doing that. So how are we doing that? Because it is, we can say, Vachana Samarthyat. Because this Dhakara and Repha Lopaha, which is required in order for 6-3-1-1-1 to apply, they only come in 8.3. Let's go there for a second. This 8-3, 13-14. Really the only two places where you get this Dhakara Lopa Atva Repha Lopaha. So if you don't allow 6-3-1-1-1 to see those, that 6-3-1-1-1 will never apply. So it will not have Charitartha. Remember this word Charitartha. Charitartha means it has application somewhere. It has proved its existence. Its existence has been proven now to be. It has basically shown some application. So Charitartha is the term they use in the grammatical commentaries. Charitartha. It has application somewhere because Dhodhe Lopha and Rori. So that is the reason why. But you should definitely ask that question. How are we going back to 6-3-1-1-1 after applying 8-3-14? That should not be allowed. But we are doing that based on the fact that this. Then why does Panini put this Dhalope Purvasya Dirghanaha in 6-3-1-1-1? Why does he not put it, in the Tripadi itself? Normally the answer to that is that to maximize the use of the anuvrittis, because this is extreme economy in the Ashtadhyayi. So all these anuvrittis of this Purvasya Dirghanaha, this will be required in 6-3-1-1-1 to be utilized below. Vasu has a question.
Haji.
Yes, Vasu.
Yeah. Can you explain Dode Lopaha?
Dode Lopaha is a similar thing. Is when there is a Dhakara followed by Dhakara, the
Mhm.
prior dha drops. And that generally does not come padanta. It always comes generally inside a pada.
So
So that
ro, re, I was wondering why lopaha came is because lopaha is before that and it's an anuvritti coming down?
anuvritti coming in, absolutely.
Oh,
Anuvritti
okay.
coming. Yeah.
Okay.
So now the question for you was that while you're on that topic is that why did Pani not put in one sutra itself? Can you try to answer that maybe?
Um,
See, normally Pani will split the sutra like that for a reason. He put Dhodhe Lopaha 8313,
mhm.
then put Rori as 8314.
If we were to put it in together, how would you put it, Satish ji?
You can say Dharoho, Dha
Oh,
and
okay.
Ra, so you can say you can say Dhari, something like that, That could
Mm.
have been possible to do that, or Dharayoho Lopaha.
Could it be because the Ra and Sa have other implications all over?
You're getting close, but it's not. This is an important concept. I just happened to notice it, that's why I'm asking the question.
Uh-huh.
But this is a very important technique of Panini, why he does that. Anybody else in the class? Why this is Dhodhe Lopaha and Ro Ri, the next sutram? Why not just put them make it, Dharoho, Dharayoho Lop, something like that? Why not do that?
I'll venture a guess on this.
Yes, Anup is coming with sutram, that's very nice.
only,
This is
only
a very auspicious day by the way. Anupji is coming for Pani Sutram. Okay, very good.
No, no.
So,
I'm just
Asmakam
venturing
punyam vartate.
my guess would be that ro or re he will not use in the next sutra somehow.
Very
So
good. The Rori comes in the next, the Raha comes in the next Sutram.
Right.
The Dha doesn't. Because,
Right.
because we already looked at Sutram Karavasana or Visarjaniyaha. Only Refa comes into that one. Now, if Panini were to combine the Dhakara and Refa in one Sutram in a compound, remember this one more rule by the way, is that generally Anuvritti cannot be stripped from inside a compound. So if you say Dharoho, Dharayoho Lopaha, then you now cannot strip out only the Refa from that Anuvritti. Anuvritti has to be a Prasak Padam generally. So that's why Panini has to now put Dhode Lopaha, put Rori as the next sutram, and then take the Ro from the Rori down into the next sutram, which is the Karavasanayor Visarjaniya. So when you see this happening, you should always look at this kind of arrangement, which Panini is doing. Okay, good. So that is the reason why this Rori is split out. So this Ro can be taken down into the next sutram, Karavasana Visarjaniya. That would not be possible if you combine them all into one. Okay, good. So now this. So now we know why we came back to 63111, in spite of the fact that we had already done the Rori, which was Tripadi Karyam. And now what does Sutram say? 63111 says Dhakara Repayor Lopo Yasmin Sa Dra Lopaha. So when you have a Dhakara Repa Lopa happening, when the situation is present, then prior to that, Tatra Purvasya Anaha Dirgho Bhavati. The prior an will take Dirgha. But remember, I already mentioned that, refresh your memory, when you have the an pratyahara, the question comes, is an with the first nakara or the second nakara? Because you ayun, then all the way up to rukra hayavarat lan. So then, there is sandeha jayate. So purva nakarena sambandha asti atva paranakarena. And there, the answer to that is that barring only one sutram, which we have seen, and that was the anudit savarnasya cha pratyaha. Except for that one sutram, the an is always with the purva nakarena. So it is with the prior, the first nakara. The in is always with the second nakara, the later one. Because these are only two pratyahas which use the na as an it, that marker na. So an and in. And in is always with the uttaravarti nakara, the second one. And an is always with the first an, except for the one sutram, which is the anudit savarnasya cha pratyaha. So that one is in 1.1, I think around 1160. So when you say dha lope purvasya dirghona, it means the only a, e, o, only these three. The others don't come. So if, for example, if you have a ru, the ru will not become dirgha. It will not. So word like you have a word like dridha. In dridha, that ru will not be subject to any dirgha because of the fact that that is not an un. It's not an un. So the this number 1169. So barring 1169, every other un, pratyahara which is used in the Ashtadhyayi Panini, that always means only a and that's all. We will put that in the document. Trying to make this document more and more explanatory because I think many people look into recordings. So barring 1169, I think we already had this in the prior classes, but the un always means the always refers to only the a, e, u, no, that's it. And the in is always with the second nakara. In is always with the second. So in is always with the second nakara. Always with the latter na. Okay. So dha lope purvasya dirghona. Now in this Nishachara Chamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha, when we did that, we have an u preceding. That should be subject to dirghatvam. But that u is already long. That u is already long in that Chamu Shabdaha. So therefore, tatra prabhava nasti. It has no effect on that one. So very quickly go back to here. So that example will not illustrate this next rule, because that u is already long in the Shachara Chamu. So I have given one example here from the Devi Mahatmyam. As I mentioned to you, the Devi Mahatmyam, which is called Chandi Patha, also called Chandi, it has, or Durga Patha is called sometimes. It also has 700 shlokas. But there they count the uvachas, by the way. In Devi Mahatmyam, they count the uvachas, like Vaishya Uvacha. That counts as one shloka over there. In Gita, it does not. In Gita, in 700, you don't include the uvachas. While in the Devi Mahatmyam, you include the uvachas. So the Vaishya Uvacha, Raja Uvacha, they all count as 111. Anyway, so there also very good text for grammar-wise. It has a lot more non-Paninian usages than Gita does. So Gita, that's why I always say Gita is very user-friendly. Mahabharatam as a whole. Okay, so there we have a shloka there in the third adhyaya. Is Tejo Bhi Ravi Bimbam. Tejo Bhi Ravi Bimbam. It's part of a bigger shloka. So Jajvalyaman Tejo Bhi Ravi Bimbam Vivambarat. That's the first part of the shloka. So Tejo Bhi, so Jajvalyaman Tejo Bhi. So this Daitya, he threw this spear at the Devi, which seemed like the orb of the sun. It was shining with, luster. So just illuminated. The Tejo Bhi. Now if you do Tejo Bhi, so Ravi Bimbam, again Sasajushoruhu, and become Tejo Bhir Ravi Bimbam. And then become Tejo Bhi by Rory, Tejo Bhi Ravi Bimbam. And now we'll apply this Dhalope Purvasya Dirgho Anaha. So Tejo Bhi Ravi Bimbam. So the thing to remember here is that when you have this dirgha vowel followed by a repha, then you immediately suspect this rule, this 63111. 63111. So this is the combination you want to kind of keep in your mind. This dirgha and followed by a repha, and then you don't know whether this was actually a Visarga, Visarga was there and dropped or not. And of course, when you look at the bhi like that, there's no such word ending in bhi. It's probably going to be bhis, which has become tejo, bhi, ravi, bimbam. So this is the combination you want to watch out for. Doesn't always mean it is going to be there, but it could have been there. So one more time, we have tejo, bhis, ravi, bimbam, sasaju, shoruho, prantasya, sakarasya. You will get the ruradesha bhavati, then rori. So, rephasya rephe lopa bhavati. So tejo bhi plus ravibimbam. And dha lope purvasya dirgho anaha. So this the ayun. So the e is in the an pratyahara. So it's going to become tejo bhi ravibimbam. Now, interesting thing is that in the Gita we actually do have this combination in one place. Anybody can tell me? In the Gita where we do have this long an, dirgha an, and padanta dirgha an we have, followed by a repha. Anybody in the class? Okay, fourth adhyaya, anybody? I'll give fourth adhyaya. So, second half. Below the Brahma, Pranam Brahma, Haver Brahma, Nurmanatam, Brahma, Yuvatena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. Anyway, it's a few slokas below that. Prana, Pana, Gati, Rudhva. Pranayama, Parayana. Well, different kind of tapas is a different kind of yajnas are described over there in the fourth adhyaya, towards the end. And there you have this prana, pana, gati, rudhva, pranayama, parayana. So you might suspect there, and you should suspect, that there might have been this dhalope, urvasya dirgho anaha. But as it turns out, it is actually not that. So it doesn't always mean it will be there. Here it is. Yeah, prana, pana, gati, rudhva. Look at this one. You have the dirgha e. It could have been o also. So followed by repha. So now what is the padacheda here? Actually you have the answer down here also. So the padacheda of this is prana, pana, gati. So this is actually a dual form. This is actually this is like mati. This is dvitiya dvivachanam of mati shabda. So prana, pana, gati, rudhva. So controlling or obstructing the path of the prana, apana, vayu. So prana, pana, gati is the object of rudhva. But had it been gatihi, rudhva, you will get the same final form. So if you take gatihi, rudhva, and gati, rudhva, they both will give the same form, because if you go through the steps, so it will be the same steps as we have in the Dev Mahatmyam. So if we had gatihi plus rudhva, then also we would have had the same form, because I should say gatis plus rudhva. Then we would have done again the sasajusho ruhu, and in rori, so we'd applied the 8 to 60, exactly the same steps, 8 to 66, I think 8 3 14, and then we would have had the 6 3 1 1 1, the dholope purusha dirgho anaha, and we would have ended up with the gati rudhva. So that would have been possible, but it will not make sense in that context, because then gati will become a prathama ekvachanam, and that doesn't fit the context. So of course sandhis have to be deciphered in the context. Sometimes there are choices, sometimes there are no choices. Because clearly just go back to the verse for a minute. It will not fit there for various reasons. It will not fit there. Let me see. Okay, because pranayama, parayana. Because gati would have become, see, apane juvati pranam. So this is a bahuvachanam. This juvati bahuvachanam. If you make gati here as a prathama ekvachanam, it cannot be a subject of that. So anyway, so that is one place in the Gita where you might suspect that this rule must come, but it is not actually that one. So you should still tag this one as a possible suspect, because you have a dirgha an followed by the repha padanta. So the sequence of events would have been sasajusho ruho, rori, and then dhalope purusya dirgho anaha. Okay. So by the way, just out of another piece of information, this dhalope purusya dirgho anaha, from that the anuvritti of dirgha goes for a long way. It's like another Panini joke kind of, The dirgha has a dirgha anuvritti. So it goes down all the way into 6.4, I think the first 18 sutra. So this from 63111, anuvritti of dirgha, it goes all the way down to about 6418. So this also tells you that anuvrittis don't have to stop at the pada boundaries. They can go into the next pada also. So a lot of important rules coming here. So that now ends the sandhi section that we are going to do in this class for the time being. We have not done all the sandhi rules because there will be some. We only look at. So right now we have done, I think, enough to get all the padanta sandhis in the Gita, at least almost all of them. So please practice, practice, practice. That's the only way you're going to master these. And with the color coding now, at least try to do the green and yellow. That would be the first step for all of you. At least do the green and yellow. It's only less than, I think, about 10 sutras really. The green are only 2, and yellow only 6, 7, I think. So, and then try to come to the blue ones, at least a few of them, and then the remaining ones, take a shot at it. But this is actually quite a lot because we are going at a reasonably fast pace because, we only meet once in 2 weeks. So we already covered 30. This is, about what 30, 37 sutras we have done, and we haven't even put down all of them really because some of them are very simple. Yeah, Vasu has a question. Yes. Yes, Vasu.
If you may, can you explain the one below, Roho Supi?
Roho Supi, which you are talking about the.
So yeah, I don't know whether it, maybe it's not in the.
Yeah, I'll simply ask the question. I'll answer briefly. If we are talking about in the class today morning, we are talking about in the class. But okay, Rose Supi, right? Well, yeah. It's a very confusing. It's a very, very confusing sutra, by the way. Rose Supi. There's another sutra in the Ashtanga which says Rose Supi.
Oh.
it sounds almost the same.
I was interested in this for the reason I thought maybe in the line of thinking we have right now, what disappears, it should have some significance in here.
No, this is Lopa only is coming in 6.3111. This is in 8.3 now. So this is going to do a Visarjaniya Adeshaha. So
so Lopa stops there, is it?
Yeah, Lopa is no, because because Visarjaniyas came below that, you see.
So there is
no Lopa there. No Lopa there.
No Lopa there. But,
no Lopa there.
But the thing is, if you are dropping or it disappears, does it make a difference?
No, see Panini's terms are Lopaha.
Yeah.
And there's another Luk, Shlu, Lup. The Lopaha is an Adesha of a zero also.
Yeah.
Now Luk, Shlu, Lup, when these are used, the entire pratyaya goes. See, Lopaha being an Adesha will be alone, just it'll come to the ending letter only generally. So,
okay.
But this, the Luk, Shlu, Lup, and also when you do the Luk, Shlu, Lup, you cannot do any Anga Karyam based on that pratyaya which has gone away. Nalumata Angasya. So these are the 4 terms which Panini uses to drop something. It is Lopaha, then pratyasya, Luk, Shlu, Lupaha, these 4. So most common is the Lopa is the most common one, which we see all the time. But Rose Sibi, actually, even to go back for 1 second, if you want to spend a couple of minutes, is that why did the Anurvritti of Lopaha stop? How do we know that? Because Panini never said Anurvritti stops. He just gave this Sutra Pata and that's it. Now what happens is this is a general principle, is that when something incompatible comes, that tells you the Anurvritti is going to stop. Because now what he's saying is that Karavasanayor Visarjaniya Adesha Syat. You cannot have Lopaha and Visarjaniya as 2 Adeshas, side to side in the same situation. So that tells you that the Anuvritti has now to stop because a new incompatible condition has been put. So that's how they give you. So because this Anuvrittis are not cast in stone. Okay? And sometimes also controversy, Anuvritti stops or doesn't stop. But this is a basic principle. There are some more complicated ideas, but basic principle is that when something incompatible comes, Anuvritti stops. So Visarjaniya, it was incompatible with the Lopa Anuvritti. So Visarjaniya came. The second principle which I wanted to know is that, is what the Sutram says, Rose Supi, is that when you have this Saptami Bahuvachanam of Sup, this Supi is actually just not the entire Pratyahara Sup, means two of just all of them. It's only Saptami Bahuvachanam. If that is following, then Roho Eva Visarjaniya Adesha Syat. Okay, let's back up for a second. See, Karavasana Visarjaniya has said that when you have any Kar or an Avasana, then Repa takes the Visarga Adesha, Visarjaniya Adesha. The next Sutram, Rose Supi, is saying that when Sup, that Saptami Bahuvachanam Sup ending is following, like Rameshu, Sita. So that only a single ending, that one. Then Ru will take the Visarjana Adesha. Now at face value, this sutra should have no reason to be there also, because the prior sutra would have taken care of it. The Ru is only a special repa. The Ru is just a special repa. It's marked with the U Anubandha. That's all. Then why does Panini have to say when that sup ending follows, that Ru will take Visarga Adesha? Because the prior rule was saying any repa, including the Rus, will take Visarga Adesha when any Khar or Avasana follows. Now, sup means it's beginning with a sakara. That sakara is a khar letter. So this should have been taken care of by the prior sutram 8.3.15. Now that, when it is, you have a very important principle, is siddhe sati arambha niyamartha. I put in the document. So we'll put the number there, 8.3.16. Bit of a digression, but it's an interesting concept. So since you've asked the question, let me at least put that here. So this says, siddhe sati arambha niyamartha. So what it means is that when something was not even required to be said, siddhe sati, means karya siddhe sati, the same job could have been done by some other rule already existing. So siddhe sati, still arambha. So Panini still is, sutram rachayati sutrakaraha. So he is still making a sutram. For what? Niyamartha. Siddhe sati arambha. Arambha. It says niyamartha or niyamartham, either word. So niyamartham. I'll explain to you what's going on here. Niyamartha. So what he means is that if this su ending follows, only the Ru will take Visargadesha. The other refas will not. So the sutram only has an effect in blocking the other ordinary refas from taking the Visarga Adesha. So let's say we'll give two quick examples and then we'll go on. Take the example, take the word tapas. The word tapas ends in sakara, right? So it will become tapassu. When you do bahuvachanam of tapas or manas tapas, any of these, it will become tapassu. So you have to go through the usual rules. But the one more rule which we haven't learned so far, which you need right now, is 1.4.17, which will make the tapas into padasanya. See, padasanya, the only rule which you have learned so far is the 1.4.14, which is the supting antam padam. Supting antam padam is what we have learned so far. Supting antam padam, which means anything ending the sup or ting antam, ting ending is the padam. So basically any completed word form, noun or verb, is called padam, which is what we're doing in the padam when you do the padacheda and the Gita, and that's what we're looking at. But there's one more very important rule below that, which says that swadishva sarvanamasthane. Swadishva sarvanamasthane. So when one of these su endings follow, then also the anga gets a pada status. So we have looked at 1.4.14. But 1.4.17 is saying this swadishu asarvanamasthane. So let's not go through all the detail because it's too much for this class right now. But all I want to tell you is that 1.4.17 will make this tapas into a padasanya. Because if you let's look at supting andam padam, only this your pada is going to end after tapas su. But we want a pada status here also. This sakara should be, when you do tapas plus su, we want that tapas to be a padasanya. Otherwise we cannot apply sasaju shoruhu and all that. So those we need to apply that. So this angam, which is the tapas plus su, that tapas would not get this one also needs to get a padasanya. So I'll just put the number here maybe, and we won't go in details right now. We see it in later class. You know what we're going to do in the remaining part of this year, at least for the most of this year, maybe at least till the fall, is try to do the subandha prakriya. Declension of noun and adjective. That's the next step for us right now. We got the basic sandhi rules. Then we'll do the subandha prakriya, and maybe towards the end of this year, depending on what Shankarji tells us and directs us to do, we might look at some verbs. If we progress that far, maybe towards the end of this year. So in summertime, we're going to do the subandha prakriya, and there we'll look at all these in more detail. But today we just leave it like right now. So I'm sorry, 1.4, I think it's 17. Okay, 1.4.17. So this sakara is going to be padanta sakara. So we can do sasajushoruhu, karavasane visarjaniya. So everything is fine. This is like, this is the same as, we could have had tapassu, and we could have also had the vashari. We have to use that. So we could have could have had this tapahasu. There are two forms possible. Vashari. We saw this before, vashari. This is like a Namah Shivaya rule, similar to that, Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. So far, so good. But then what is this Ros Supi telling us? Ros Supi, so before, let me just go back and tell you which one. We are looking, that we applied this vashari. What we saw, Visarjaniyasya, Visarjaniya Adesha Va Bhavati Shari Pare. So we had Tapassu and Tapahasu. But now when you have a word like Gir, for example, when we have Gir means, Gir means Vacha, Vak, means speech. So when you have Saptami Bahuvachanam of that word, it takes a Dirgha Vyakana rule, but we won't go into that right now. But it becomes Gir, and then it becomes Su. Now what happens is that this Gir also has a Padasanya by the same Sutra 1417. So what would have happened, that also would have become Gi Su or Gi Su. Gir Shu, maybe it becomes Shakar afterwards. But Panini doesn't want that. He does not want this Refa to go with the Karavasana Yor Visarjaniya should not be applied here. So that's why he says Ros Supi. Is this, if this Su ending follows, only a Ru can become the Visarga, not any other Refa. So in Tapassu we had done Sasajushoruhu and we got the Ru. In Gir we already had this Refa. This Refa is not a Ru. This Refa in Gir is not, this is a part of the Dhatu. We'll put that in the bracket there. This is not a Ru, not Ru. So what happens is that because of Ros Supi, this one does not become a Visarga. So I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but it basically stopped the Karavasana Visarjaniya. So if this Su ending follows, then only a Ru, not all Refas, can become Visarga. Others cannot. So let's go back to the Sutram 8.3.15. So this answers Vasu's question. So we saw two important concepts. One is why Nivrutti stopped. Second is the Siddhesati Arambha Niyamartha. Siddhesati Arambha, remember that. It's going to come many times. You're going to see that. Because sometimes you may look at a sutra and say, why do you even need this? We already had enough to do this job. Because it is basically limiting. When you say Niyamartha, means it is a limiting sutram. It limits the Karavasana, Karavasana, your Visarjaniya is being limited by this one. So when the Sup follows, only Ru can become Visarga, other Refas will not. So the use of this Sutram 8.3.16, this only use is saying that the other Refas will not become Visarga. Anyway, so that's what's happening. Don't worry about right now. We will come back to this when we do this Subandha Prakriya. But for now, remember only is Karavasana Visarjaniya. Karavasana Yor Visarjaniya. Okay, so I want to just finish up today by, just giving you two kind of basic sutra that we are going to now go into detail in the remaining part of the year and next year also. And that is to the endings, Sup endings and the Ting endings. It's going to give you the endings for today, and we'll take some examples. But the reason I'm giving that to you is that because every word and the word is very confusing. Okay. So generally I should say every completed word form. What do you say padam? Yes, sup ting antam padam. So has to end one of these sup endings or ting endings because of sup ting antam padam. So it's a good exercise for you to try to figure out which one of these 39 endings is being used, and you can ask me also if you have a question. So every single word, so when you say Tutarashtra, Uvacha, Yutarashtraha, that has the ending Su, and Uvacha ending is Tip. Of course, they might drop, they might get substituted in different forms, there might be some Vikalpaha, there might be this, there might be that. And one more quick point over here is that even the what's so-called Avyayas, the indeclinables, they are also Subantas. So there only the Sup comes and takes a look, elision, and the Sup goes away. But technically, technically they are also subandhas. Even the upasargas, what we call, they're also avyayas, they're also subandhas. So every single verb form has to be a subanta or a tinganta form. There is no third department here. So the moment you do padacheda, you have to go to either this department or that department. And then there were different floors in the department, But one more point is that it doesn't have to be in black and white. The same padam can end up in this or that department depending on the internal meaning. So even a word like gachanti or gachati, that gachati, we should take a simple example quickly. If you take a word like gachati, that could be a subanta padam. By the way, let me finish this form. This ends up being girshu, by the way. It doesn't become, let me put that in the document here. It becomes girshu. Okay, so that's the final form. It does not become gishu or gishu. Okay, so if you take a padam like gachanti, this one, let's take gachati, simpler. I think most of you probably know this. This can be the third person singular, prathama purusha, third person singular. Yeah. Also, one more confusing thing is that in English we say third person. In Sanskritam, in the verbal form, the third person is called prathama purusha, and in the English, first person in verbs is called the uttama purusha in Sanskritam. So you have to be very careful. Not only that, if you look at the English books, they'll put the first person, which is uttama purusha, they'll put on top. While in all the real Sanskritam books, they'll put the Vyakaranam books, they'll always put the third person, which is the prathama purusha, on top. And you can see when you look at the sutram tiptasji, even Panini puts the tiptasji, the tip ending comes first. And that is this third person comes first over here. Then second person, then the first person. And so when you don't get confused between those two, So this English third person will be in Sanskritam will become the prathama purusha. And we're going to see all this in detail in the coming months. Prathama purusha. So you see it's called the first person. Okay. So this can be a third person singular, present tense form of the root gum. Again, the gum has become gacha. We have not seen those roots as yet, but this can be a verbal form, or it can also be a subanta form, a nominal form, which is going to be it can be a noun form. It can be adjective form, I should say, adjective. It can be a present participle. It can be the locative singular. It could have been either masculine or neuter. Locative singular of the pradipadikam gachat. So gachat could have been so that my only point I'm trying to make is that some of these can go in either department. They can be a tinganta, they can be a sumata. And sometimes when the poets can be really nasty with you, when they can play these games, they can switch. They can put what's called shabda chala, as they say, right? So they can put these, which can go either one. So, but regardless, either one, it still has to be, at the end of the day, it has to be either subanta or tinganta. And the two rules that I want to give you here is that maybe you can try to have some fun and practice on some of the words that you're learning, and see if you can figure out which one of these are coming. So the first sutra which Panini gives is this one. Is in 412. Panini gives this long sutra, which is very musical. Suavjas, amauchas, tabhyam vis, nebhyam vis, nyasi bhyam vyas, nyas bhyam vyas. And then, did I miss one? No, I missed one. See, I went too fast. Okay, I will do it slowly. So, su aujas, amauchas, tabhyam vis, ne bhyam, and then bhi. Then you get the, let me find, I'm trying to do two things at the same time and messing up both, I think. So, okay. 412. So, su aujas, that's the prathama ekvachanam. Then, ekavachanam, dvivachanam, bahuvachanam. Then, auchas, that's the dvitiya. Tabhyam vis, that's the tritiya. Ne bhyam bhyas, that's the chaturthi. Nyasibhyam, yes is the Panchami. And then Nyas Os Am, that is a Shashti. And then Ni Os Sup is Saptami. So these are basically 7 times 3 or 3 times 7. I should say 3 times 7, which is the 7 cases, and then we have the Ekavachanam, Dvivachanam, Bahuvachanam. Again, this is one of the, unlike in English, we have the Dvivachanam, by the way, which is not used very much, but it is still there. So in English we only have singular and plural. Say I and we, or he and them. We don't say, two of them. There's no special word for that, but here we do have that. That's one specialty of this language. And look at the prior sutram, is Niya Pratipadikat. Niya Pratipadikat. So these can only come after the Pratipadikam, which is the nouns or verbs. They cannot come after the, nouns or adjectives, not after verbs. So the moment you have a Pratipadikam in nominal form, the declension has to come. This 412 Nitya Karyam. It is not Vaikalpikam Karyam. It is an invariable rule that the declension has to come. As they say, apadam na prayunjita. You should not use anything in this language which is not a padam. You should not say Ram. They say in Hindi we say Ram kya bola, Ram kya bola. Say Ramaha. You can say He Rama. You say Ramam, Ramena, Ramabhyam. So always use something which is a padam. So these are 21 nominal endings. Again, what are the meanings of all of these? Prathama, Dvitiya. We'll look at that in later classes. And what are the its? They all have on them the it letters, which are also to be removed before you can apply them. That also we will see. But if you want to practice and have some fun, you can start using these and try to identify in your mind which one of these could it be. If it's a noun or adjective, which one of these could have been there? So I would take the ending bhi, for example. It's a ta, bhyam, bhis. That bhi ending is very common. So tejo bhi rapu jagasam, tejo bhi, we already saw that. So there's only one bhi ending in all of these, in the only 39. So every bhi ending is going to be a tritiya bahuvachanam. So if you say hari bhi, sita bhi, katru bhi, pitru bhi, gacchad bhi. So the moment you see the ending bhis, it has to be tritiya bahuvachanam. So you can kind of take out some of these are very easy. They are easy to spot. I'll give you one more right now for this class. Is the ending su. This ending su is a single fellow. See, every saptami bahuvachanam, no matter what prajapatakam you have, excuse me, has to end in su. And vice versa also. Every su has to be a saptami bahuvachanam. For you take Rameshu, the su might become shu. Rameshu, Sita su, Pitru su, Asmatsu, Yushmatsu, everywhere. Now, the bhi works only one way, is that every bhi is a titiya bahuvachanam, but not vice versa. Can you give me an example of that? Give me a titiya bahuvachanam which is not bhi ending. Very easy. Okay, Karthik has it, I think. Yes, Karthik. Yes, Karthik.
Ramaihi.
Ramaihi, which is the other one? Vanaihi.
Vanaihi. Neuter
Only these two pratipadikam, which is a neuter or masculine plural, will become Ramaihi, Vanaihi. Every other word will have the bhi. But see, bhi works very well, but the su works even better, because this ending, the saptami bahuvachanam su, will always be there. If you don't see a su at the end, you can say this is not saptami bahuvachanam. And if it's saptami bahuvachanam, it has to have the su at the end. The bhi works one way. The bhi means it has to be tritya bahuvachanam, but then the Ramaihi and Vanaihi can also be tritya bahuvachanam. So anyway, I'm just giving you these two today just to get started, just to kind of get an introduction. From next class, you start using these and then see how they change, what sometimes differences. Because if one more thing which might be a bit disturbing for you right now is that if you look at the Rama Shabdaha, they probably might have the most exceptions. If you take the Tritiya Ekvachanam of Rama Shabda, you get Ramena. While here you're seeing the ending ta. So where is ta and where is ramena? You know. So also we look at the panchami ekavacham is nyasi. So nyasi, well, you have ramat. So now where is ramat and where is rama plus nyas? You know, nyasi. So and then same thing with ramasya. Now ramasya also the ending here is nyas. So rama plus nyas. From where we got ramasya. So don't worry about what's happening there is that the some of the most common words break all the rules because of the fact they get used a lot, and that the rules get twisted. For example, dhatu kru, right? The most Shankaracharya makes nahi nahi dikrin karne, nahi nahi rakshit dikrin karne. He says in Bhaja Govindam. The dikrin karne is the most headache dhatu in the whole language probably because there's a lot of exceptions. It's the most common dhatu. Same thing with bhu. So there are a lot of exceptions. Same thing in the Prajapadam, asmad yushmat. The most common word I and you. They have the most exceptions. I mean, there were about 20 rules. Pani has to make about 20 rules just to do the asmad yushmat. So don't be kind of thrown off because some of these common words have exceptions. But still, the fact is that you have to start with one of these two. So the steps I want to tell you is that always start with the default ending. Then only you make a substitution or you make and drop it. Don't directly say ramasya. Start with rama plus nyas. So if you even if you know the form is ramasya, then you can now say with full confidence. You should really have 100% confidence in being able to say that if somebody wants the shashti ekvachanam, what's called a genitive singular of any prajapadikam, no matter what it is, you should immediately be able to say it is Rama plus Nyas. No doubt in your mind, because that's what Panini said, it is this. But then how it became Ramasya? Well, there must be some rule which is making the Nyas into the Sya. And there is a rule. We'll see it in next class now. There is a rule. So, but still, this much you can state with full confidence. Is Rama plus Nyas is Shashti Ekavachanam of Rama. Same thing if you say Hari, Sita. So Sita plus also if you want Sita also same thing. You can make it Sita plus Nyas. So always start with these. Start with these, and then we'll see from next class what to do with that. Okay, maybe I'll put in document is that I think we just put before that. What we talked about is the bhi ending. So this ending is always maybe this is an exercise for you for homework. You can find all the bis endings in the Gita. There are quite a few of them. This ending is always going to be the instrumental plural. Instrumental plural. And the sup ending, which is going to be Anubandha Lope su, only su remains. I'll put the pa in brackets because the pa is a marker. The sup ending is always going to be locative plural. And also vice versa. Is that every locative plural is also su. Plural is su. Okay, so let's leave it at that, and we'll continue with the next class. Now let me also give you these verbal endings, which we're not going to see that immediately. We'll wait till we do some subandha practice. Why is that, by the way? Why should we do subandhas first and not tingantas first? Because subandhas are much easier to handle. They don't have that many exceptions. There are only this many. Because when you talk about verbal endings, we have 10 tenses and moods, and we have 10 ganas to deal with, and tons of rules to come. So let's get a handle on subandhas first, which should not that difficult, and then we can go into tingantas. And that really will be like the peak of Vyakaranam for you, because once you master tingantas, then rest of it will be like a downhill slope for you. So then that will come sometime probably next year. So that's why we're going to do these subandha endings first, and then that's the parampara of the Siddhanta Kaumudi. Siddhanta Kaumudi, that's the way Bhattoji deals with it. He does sandhi rules first, then what's called a shadlingi. Shadlingi because you have to take masculine, feminine, neuter. You take the vowel ending and the consonant ending words. So we first look at masculine vowel ending, masculine consonant ending, and feminine, and neuter. So you have 6 of them. It's called shadlingi. It's six kinds of words. Let's do the last one for today, which is the verbal endings. Tiptajji, siptastha, mipvasmas, ta atamja, thas atamdham, idvahimahi. So here the only extra thing is that there are two varieties of these. See, subending there's no variety. Only every pratipadikam, when you say prathama ekavacham, you have to take pratipadikam plus su. But here there are two classes of these. One is called what's called the parasnipadam endings and the atmanipadam endings. Okay. Now, very briefly is that technically speaking, a dhatu, when you do an action for the sake of yourself, which when the fruit is, what's what Panini calls is kartru abhipraya kriya phale. Kartru abhipraya kriya phale. When the fruit of the action is supposed to accrue to yourself, supposed to use atmanipadam and parasnipadam in the remaining. But some dhatus may only allow parasnipadam, regardless of words. Some may only allow atmanipadam. Only when it's ubhayapadi, when both are allowed, then you have to make this vyavastha. But in today's day and world, it has become completely arbitrary now. So dhatus are designated to be either parasnipada and dhatu partha or atmanipadam, or they can only take one of these endings. And some of ubhayapadi, but even there it's kind of arbitrary. Because in my favorite Gita shloka is ye pachanti atma karanat. Look at that shloka now. Pachanti. So it says pachanti atma karanat. So those who cook for themselves. So clearly it is in the third adhyaya of Gita. So this one clearly says they are doing something for their own sake, and the dhatu pach ubhayapadi, and still they use the parasnipada ending. So now what does that mean? That means that this vyavastha is not really, oh, look at it, I just clicked on, we got the same, we came to the same shloka. Ye pachanti atma karanat. So they cook for themselves, and this dhatu pach ubhayapadi, and they use the parasnipada ending. So that completely destroys the logic of saying that if you do something for yourself, you should use atmanipadam and parasnipadam otherwise. So that is, even though in theory Panini still maintains that, but that doesn't mean anything for us today. They're all going to be designated one or the other, and even when it can take both, they can still go back and forth very much. So that's why we have 9 plus 9. 9 plus 9. And within the 9 and 9, the good news is that, by the way, in the Tingantas, linga bheda nasti. So there is no difference when you say saha balakaha gacchati, sa balika pi gacchati eva. But in Hindi, Telugu, Marathi, I don't know Telugu that well, but Marathi and Gujarati and all that, you will definitely see a difference. Ladka jata hai, ladki jati hai. So now, thank God for that. At least we don't have one thing to worry about. Is the linga veda nasti tingandeshu. So it does not tell you anything about the gender of who's doing that action. So when you say gacchati, it could be nari gacchati or nara gacchati. So you have only 3 by 3. There is no another dimension to that. Only that. Then we have, as I mentioned to you, what we call the English third person. The Sanskritam Prathama Purusha is given first by Panini, then the second person, and then the English first person. So this is the third person in English. This is the second person. This is the English first person, which is called Uttama Purusha. And then same thing here. These 3 for the Atmanipadam is 1, 2, 3. Now, one more thing to remember is that, slightly different from English, is that here the second person only means Yushmat, you, nobody else. For example, when you say, please may the sir come into the room, agachatu bhavan, tara. So you have to use a third person usage. May you sir come in is going to be third person, because only Yushmat Pradipatikam, only a single Pradipatikam Yushmat, meaning you, is considered to be second person in this language. Only Asmad is first person. Everything else, default, is third person. Everything else is third person. So that is why you have to look at it that way. Now also notice one more thing, by the way. This sutra is in 3.478, while the one we saw before was in 4.1.2. 4.1.2. So all these verbal endings come in the third chapter of the Ashtadhyayi. and the nominal ones come in chapter 4 and 5. So that's why they are not close to each other. The Anurti of Dhato is coming in this 3-4, third adhyaya. The fourth adhyaya we already saw, we had the Pratipadikaat is coming over there. So we'll look at these in details. Again, here some of them you can easily identify, like the tip, gacchati, bhavati, and then even the karomi, then even the sip endings with the common gacchasi and etc. Even so that is also the very common. Some of them require some changes to be made, which you won't see today because we just introduction. But if you want, you can still try. We see if you have any verbal form, it has to have one of these 18 endings, and you can try to fit some of them in there. Now, before we take examples, let me just mention to you two sections of if you want to try to get some more, further details on this. This sutra which we took, the 3478. 3478 is the sutram tiptasji, siptastha, mikpasmas, ta'atamja and all that. Now from there up to the end of 3-4 are a number of rules which give you all the changes to these default affixes, which are based on the specific tense or mood. Specific tense or, for example, let's take a quick rule. 3480 says, thasas se. So if you have any lakara with t as a marker, the thas becomes se. So, so it becomes like varta se, lava se. It will not become thas. The thas immediately becomes se. So these are all these rules. The thas becomes se if the lakara, the tense or mood, has the t as a marker, like lut, lit, lut, lut, which you're going to see in detail later on. These are just an example. If you want to try to fit some more, then you can come here and see if you can find something to make the transformation. If you see the word, lava se, and you cannot see any ending se, then look in these rules from 3478 down to end of 3. You might find something here which will do the job for you. Okay. The second thing I want to mention is in the beginning of, so this is one section for you to kind of keep in mind, and this is for verbs only. Okay, this end of 3-4. And the second section which I want to give you is in the beginning of 7.1. Panini does all the pratyadeshaha vidhiyante, means all affixes, not only others also, when they take a complete change, they completely replaced, then many of the rules are in the beginning part of 7.1. So keep that also in mind in case you're trying to fit one of these. And for example, I give you the example of Ramasya. We were talking about Ramasya before, right? Here's the rule right here. Ta nyasina sam inatsyaha. So that explains the Ramasya and the Ramat and Ramena. So this once this 7.1.12 will explain to you how we got Ramena, Ramat and Ramasya. So this is a section to also keep in mind if you're trying to do some practice on your own and you cannot find the answer to what, why this is changing. So you can also try to come here and see this this beginning of 7.1, there are a number of rules. Okay, so let's stop with that in this class. So let's maybe do some practice, at least of some sandhi rules. And of course, if there are any questions, I'll just stay back also. So let's maybe do the third adhyaya. Let's see how many sutras we can practice today. We only have 20 minutes left. Let's see. We'll go to the third adhyaya. Let me ask Sudhir. I think Sudhir knows a lot of answers. He's come here today, so let's try with him. Okay, let's see if we can get some interesting examples here. Going. Okay, so Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddha janadana tatkim karmani bhavarema. Okay, let's try a simple one. Karmanaste. What are the rules over here? Let's see if Sudhir can tell me. Is he there? Sudhir is there. Yes, he's there. Want to try it, Sudhir? Karmanaste.
Satish, I'm still catching up.
Okay, that's no problem. So karmanaste. Maybe Vasu can try. Let me put Vasu on the job. Let me see what he has to say. Karmanaste. How about that? Karmanaste. Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddha janadana tatking karmani ghore man niyoje sikeshava. Visarga sandhi rules. Karmanaste. So Gita 3.1. So, we will have to practice. That's the only way we can.
Yeah, let me try that.
Yeah, okay. Let me just put the number here, so then we can put it here. Okay, so karmanas. What's the first rule, Vasu?
Sasajushoruhu.
Sasajushoruhu. Padanta Sakara becomes Ruhu. I hope all of you are sick of hearing this rule by now. You should be sick of it because the moment you see Padanta Sakara, you can just close your eyes and say Sasajushoruhu. Every Padanta Sakara will become Ru. Actually, that's the default rule. So then we got. Let me copy and paste here. So that's 8266. 8266 Sasajushoruhu. Okay. What's the next step?
And the eighth letter drops.
Yeah, you can remove the U of the Ru by Upadesh Ajnanasika it. So we'll do it together. So we got the okay. What's the next one? I think it's 132. I think Upadesh Ajnanasika it. What's the next step now? So we got Karmanar plus Te.
Becomes Sa. Is
Well, we got one.
Karmanaste.
Which one are you trying to apply? Which sutra are you trying to apply? Tell me that. Which one are you trying to apply? Because that's the way you can check all the conditions to see if you're, which one you're trying to apply to make it Sa. Okay, you have to do two steps also. First thing you have to do is that the Karavasana yor Visarjaniyaha. Karavasana yor Visarjaniyaha. So you have to apply this, I think it's 8315. First have to apply 8315 because the any repa followed by a kar or avasana. What do we have? We have the ta following, right? So ta is in the kar pratyahara. Ta is the kar pratyahara. So we can then make it into a visarga. So 8315 will now, also you have to be careful, you have to only look forward now, you can't go back. You already 8266, so you can only go forward, you cannot go back. So when you apply 8315, it's going to become the Karmanaha Te. And then what's the next step now?
It has to be after the 883, right?
You know what we'll do? Let's go to our document. Let's see if we can help here. Maybe that might be a little bit easier for you. Okay, let's try. It's okay. Just practice. See, all these rules are going to be in blue now. Okay. So let's just scan and see if you can find the one. We need to make that visarga into Sa. I think I almost give you the answer there, but no, that's only for Achsandhi. We want in the blue, Vasu.
Yeah.
See, that was in yellow. So we want blue now. So we already. We already did that.
Yeah.
This one will not apply. That is, short O on both sides. That will not do. We cannot do the, the Atarorpata Prute. We cannot do that. Next one is what? Hashicha also no, which requires short or precedent U to follow. Bho also we cannot do because the Ashi has to follow. Then comes Lopa Shakalya only for Yakara. We don't have that. Then we need something else, and that's going to be probably the next class is coming down. These are all yellow. We need a blue. Hali Sarvesham will not do it. It's also Yakar Lopaha. Then we did this one. Then Visarjaniya Saha.
Visarjaniya
Saha Khari Pare. So that brings us back to the Karmanas. So now look what happened. We started with Karmanas and we came back to Karmanas. But now we already had that sutram, I think it's 8334. Now we cannot go back again and do Sasajusho Ruhu because we already had 8334. So that will now end the process. We ended up with what we started, but that is the final form with Visarjaniya Saha. So again, Sasajusho Ruhu, Karavasana Yor Visarjaniyaha, and then Visarjaniya Saha. Very, very common sequence. Okay. Good. So that's the one we have to practice. Let me see. Anybody else in the class do the next one for me? That one will be. How about this one? Mata Buddhir Janardana. So Buddhista Janardana. It's a very easy one. Let me try somebody else. Ravi can do it. I'm sure Ravi can do it. It's very easy for Ravi. Yes, Ravi.
So Satishji, we have a Buddhist plus Janardana.
Janardana, and then.
Then Sasajushoruhu, Buddhir Janardana.
That's it, only one rule. So Buddhist Janardana, and we apply Sasajushoruhu, Buddhist Janardana. Nothing else applies now because we cannot do the Karavasana Visarjaniya, we cannot do anymore because we don't have a Kar falling. We don't have the Avasana falling. In the Padacheda down here, they have made it as Buddhi because there was the Avasana. Padacheda means Avasana, nothing is falling. So when we do the Padacheda, we have to do Karavasana Yor Visarjaniya. In the Shloka itself, we have the Jakara falling. The Jakara is not a Kar. We don't have Avasana either. So Buddhi Janardana. Okay, let me take another one. This one is really easy. Tat king karmani ghore ma. Just see if we take Prajabadikam tad. Now how did tad become tat? Ravi, what's sutram for that?
That's so tad is Jalan Jashwante.
It's Jalan Jashwante you can do. So I'm looking at tat kim karmani. So the let me put in the document here. It's tad plus kim. Actually the Prajabadikam is actually tad.
So it is Jalan Khari Charasyuhu.
Yes, so that's Kharicha.
Kharicha.
Khari Sutram. So Tat Kim when we say, so then the Sutram is Kharicha. First, as Ravi said, we have to apply Jalam Jashwante. Jalam Jashwante. So all these Jal letters will go to the number 3 column at Padante. So what we already have number 3 column. The Tad already is number 3 because Ta, Tha, Da, Dha, Na. But then Kharicha, when you have a letter which is Khar letter following, then become Char Sihu as Ravi said, that's the Vritti. So that the becomes into a Char letter with number 1 column. So Kharicha Sutram will apply. So we'll apply 8 to, I think it's 39 and 8, 4, 55 to make it Tat Kim. Tat plus Kim. So in short, when you have this hard consonant following, this prior Jal goes to the number 1 column. This the goes to number 1 column. Tat Kim Karmani Ghore Ma. Let me look at the document. So this will not be either in the blue or in the yellow or in the green. It will be in some not highlighted. So the one that we're looking at is Kharicha is the one we want this. So Jalam Jashwante. So Jalam Jasha Adeshaha Bhavanti Padasyante. And then Kharicha. What does Kharicha say is that? So notice the numbers by the way. This is 8 to 39. This is 8, 4, 55. So all the way in between, only the Jash is there. Only at the very end, the Khar comes in place of that. So I'm sorry, the Char comes in. Khari Parataha, Jalam Char Adesho Bhavati. So that's the one that you want to get. And you have to confirm all the conditions. What we have fallen, the Ka is falling. The Ka is a Khar letter. You have to check that. And then only make it into a Char. Here also, why do we choose the Takara? Clearly, it's the closest substitute. So Sthanyantar Tamaha. Take the closest substitute. We always go in a straight line, So if you want to keep it simple for you, you can go in the straight line. So if you don't take any oblique lines. So this when you look at the sutram, the Sthanyantar Tamaha, all it means is go in a straight line. If you're starting from the, you want to go straight to ta. You cannot go to these others in an oblique line. They'll become slanted lines. If you go from the to ta is a straight line. If you go from the to ta is an oblique line. From here oblique lines to go also. So always go the shortest distance you want to take. The antartama is if you maintain this matrix, you always take the shortest distance to where you're going. Okay, so that's another way to look at the antartama. Okay. How about somebody else now? We got maybe 10 minutes left. Let me try. Thank you, Ravi. This is easy for Ravi. I know it's very easy for him, so that's good. Let's see. What's the next sutra now? Okay, this one is really easy. Mam niyojayasi. Mam niyojayasi. This we have seen only 2 sutras for Anuswara Sandhi, which is the Monuswaraha and then Vapadantasya. Monuswaraha, Vapadantasya. So who wants to? So what we have is Mam plus niyojayasi. That's the Padanta Makara followed by a Hal becomes Anuswaraha. So Monuswaraha. And these are 2 ones in green. Okay. Actually, as a very simple starting point for you, you can just practice these 2 at least. Just these 2, Monuswaraha and Vapadantasya. So when you have Man Niyojayasi, the Nakara is falling, which is a Hal. So that becomes the Mad becomes Anuswaraha. And then Vapadantasya. You could have done the Parasavarnaha optionally. So in the shloka we could have had man niyojesi or maun niyojesi. This maun is anuswara or man as a nakara could have also come. But the convention in writing, they'll almost never put the na there, except like in grammar books. The only place you'll see the na coming, the parasavarna padanta. They'll put it as the anuswara only in writing. So that way you know that it was anuswara to begin with and not a nakara to begin with. So that's what. So that's only the monuswara. Okay. How about this one? Vyamishrena iva. Vyamishrena iva. Who wants to do that for me? Let's see. Anybody can I call it random? Vasudha can do that. Vasudha can do that for us. Yes, Vasudha, can you do that for us? Is she there? Maybe she can do it. No, who else can do it? Anybody raise their hand? Vyamishrena iva. Yeah, Ravi can do it. Vasudha, are you there? No, maybe. Let's see. Can Anup? Maybe Anup can do it for me. Yeah, Anup. Ravi is so easy for Ravi. Anup, can you do this?
Followed by E.
Followed by E. We look at the yellow rules. Only yellow rules. Only 6, 7 of them. So followed by E. Ikuanachi, no, because it's ik.
No.
Ik because we don't have ik. So forget about it. Echo yava we don't have H. That's gone. Adgunaha.
It's only for
Answer is gunaha.
Guna is what we want, but At is only for or no? No.
See, this is avarna.
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 Oh, followed by E.
Vyamishrena iva. So A plus E becomes A adgunaha. Because you know the answer is the guna letter, so it's very easy. So 6187. So Vyamishrena iva vakyena. So it is going to be. So we have this. Simple rules. So the yellow one also not that hard to practice. So A plus E will become. See, this is going to be a little bit hard for in the beginning because you don't have the liking for Panini sutras. But once you get the hang of it, it will become easier at every step. Okay, so that's correct. Ad gunaha. Thank you. Anup, let's take the next one. What is so? This is what you should be doing at home. Take one shloka and see how many you can get. Vakyena buddhya, also again you have the monuswaraha. Here's the easy one. Mohayasi iva. Mohayasi iva. E plus E becoming long E. You can this one many people can do this. Let me pick on somebody new. Anuji is too easy for her. Let me try. Let me see. Vijaya, can you do it? No. Are you there? Can you do it? Maybe she's not there. Okay. How about Prasanna can do? Definitely she can do that one. Prasanna, can do this one for us?
Yes, Satish, it is Akasavarni Dirgha.
Akas, you were waiting there. I knew you were there. So E plus E equals long E. Akaki Dirgha. This is also going to be a yellow one. So when you have an ak by the savarna ak, then it becomes a dirgha. Purapurayoho ekadeshaha. So this is akastavani dirgha. Very simple. One more thing you can do, by the way, is you can maybe take one sutram only and try to find examples of that going forward. So rather than taking all the shloka and finding sutram back and forth, take only one sutram. Take akastavani dirgha as one sutram and see where you can find ak plus ak, ak plus ak, ak. That might be easier for you. And then you master the one sutram. Then take the next one. So maybe we can do that. Akastavani dirgha is what we done. So that's another way. Thank you, Prasannaji. So that's good. Let me take maybe.
इसमें
Yes.
तो अभी कैसा लगाएगा?
So I think I got somebody else. Okay, let's try maybe a couple more. Okay, mohe sivame tadekam the same thing. Vada nishchitya yena. Okay, how about this one? Yena shreyoham, shreyas plus aham, shreyas plus aham. Let's see if Prasanna can try that for us. Hey, Prasanna, you want to try that for us? Shreyas plus aham?
Yes, it
Okay,
is the Shreyas as.
Let me put on document. Hold on for a second. Let me put Shreyas plus aham. Okay, go ahead. What do we do now?
Sasajushoruhu.
Sasajushoruhu. Padanta sakara is going to become ru, and then upadesh
atoro.
nastika. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So let's first thing is that she is good. She knows everything. Very good. So this becomes sasajushoruhu, and anubandha lopi only ra will be there because Upadeshajana Nasika it, that U is gone. So 8266, and with 832 remove the U, and then, sorry, 132. And then as she says, we get Atoror Putada Plute. We have the on both sides, short on both sides, and the Ru in between. When you have that condition, like the Shivoham Sandhi, then that Ru, the Refa of the Ru becomes U. What number is that? 61113, is it?
It's 61113, yes.
113, thank you. So Atoror Putada Plute. Atoror Putada Plute. So it's going to become Shreya U. So 61113. Again, how do we come back to 61113? Because the Ru only comes in the Tripadi section. So we have to allow 61113 to see that, otherwise it will never apply. So what's the next step, personally?
This is going to become Shreyo.
By what sutram?
That is Adguna.
Adgunaha. Adgunaha, the next step. So Adgunaha, because between this and the U, you're going to have Adgunaha. So let's do that. The Shivoham Sandhi. So this is going to become Shreyo. Okay, and then what's the next step? So this
Enga
one is
Padantati.
Engaf Padanta Dati.
Dati,
Engaf Padanta Dati. So this one was, we did this one was Shreyo Ham Ad. What's the number of Adgunaha? What's the number of?
618.
87.
87. Thanks.
187, yes. Because how do I know that? Because the Ekaha Pura Parayoga starts from 84. A little bit below that comes this Adgunaha. Equivanachi is 6177. Adguna is 6187. So Shayoham. And the last one is Echo Yavaha Yavaha. So as she said correctly, is that when you have this, no, not that, which one comes here? That what's the next one?
Enga Padantati.
Yes.
61119.
That's actually going to be Apavada for Echo Yavaha Yavaha, isn't it?
Yes.
Because normally when you have the H followed by any Ach, it should have become, the O should have become Av. If it's a Padanta, Eng, followed by short A, then in that case, Pura Parayoho, the Ekadesha is Pura Rupam Ekadesha, becomes Shreyoham. That also is in the that's a little bit lower coming, so that one 61109. So finally 61109 is going to make it into the Shreyoham. So you get you can put the Avagraha to denote the elision of the Akara. So it becomes Shreyoham 109. Okay. And we will do one last one, and then we'll stop. Hopefully we get a short one, and we'll stop 611. Okay. Okay. But this last Makar didn't become Anuswara because this is not Padanta. I mean, so not Hali. It is Padanta, but not Hali, because Monuswara requires Hali Pare. This is Avasana, is nothing is falling. So, okay. All right, low case min. Who wants to do that? Same rule. We just did that. Low case min. Anybody? Raise their hand. Low case min. Ravi can do it, and Ravi is too easy for him. Suzanne, can we do it? Let me try Suzanne. Can she do it? No, maybe she's in Australia. Let me see. Balramji is here. Okay. Balramji, can you try it for us?
I'm sorry, Ji. I just joined the class. I have not even revised. I'm very sorry.
But we just did it 2 minutes ago. Low case min. This is basically the same rule which we just did, because what we had was Engaf Padanta Dati. So what is Eng? Is Aong, right?
Aong.
So Aong, if you look at the Mahasha Sutrani, the Eng is Aong right here, right? Aong. If you have A or O, which is Padanta, followed by Ati, short A, then between the two of them, the Ekadesha is the Pura Rupam Ekadesha Syat. So what we have is exactly the same thing. So we have low K Asmin, low K Asmin. This is the A letter, followed the Engaha, it's Padanta, and then Ati is following, right? It's basically the same rule. Enga Padanta Dati. So low K Asmin, you drop you don't drop, you make the Ekadesha the Pura Rupam. You indicate the Akar Lopa by the Avagraha. So same rule, low case min. Okay. So time is up, so we'll stop with that. But please practice, because otherwise my fear is that that if we start going ahead, then you might lose track of this a little bit. Of course, we're going to repeat this many times, But still, I would like you to practice as much as you can. That will help us going forward. So let me just put this in document, lowercase min 61109. Lowercase min. Okay. I'll do the Mangalacharam and we'll stay back for questions, okay? So Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Viyata Nishachara Chamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Rama Nasti Parayanam Paratam Ramasya Dasosmyam Rame Chittale Sada Bhautame Rama Muddhara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasanama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane Shri Rama Nama Varanana Onnam Iti. So next class we start at 4:30. And any questions, I'll stay back. We have any questions? Okay.